Otters, as a species, tend to be living images of all that is sweet and innocent in this world. But sometimes there's more to otters than just hand-holding and back-floating. These critters are curious and like to play with anyone and anything, no matter how much higher on the food chain their opponent is. That's exactly what turned a normal day in the water for one otter into a complete nightmare. When people think of otters, they think of cute and cuddly floating puppies. Sure, they aren't really dogs, but these precious sweethearts come close in the cuteness category. While they are adorable, they're also mischievous. They can often get away with their naughty behavior, though, because who's going to question these little scamps? In fact, otters are notorious for playing the game of tag with their peers, and sometimes they even take up a game with a player slightly out of their league. That's when things get really interesting. When an otter is feeling frisky, there's nothing that they won't do. They're practically fearless, willing to challenge any creature that crosses their path, for better or for worse. That's just what one otter did at the Jim Corbett National Park in India. Raymond Sai was visiting the national park when he heard the sound of an animal in distress. He went to investigate and he saw the last thing he ever imagined to spot. An otter was in the same habitat as a crocodile. As we looked down at the river, we just saw this crocodile lazing around and basking in the setting sun, Raymander said. To our amazement, an otter started to move toward it. Raymander and his stunned friends held their breath as it approached. It went straight for the croc and nibbled at its tail teasingly, he continued. The crocodile was quick to react and tried to gobble up the otter, but the otter was one step ahead of him. It then went into the river somewhat triumphantly. It was an amazing experience to watch, Raymander said. The otter was unfazed by the size of its opponent, but fearlessness didn't mean that the otter was safe or smart to make such a move. These guys just don't think when they spot an opportunity to have fun, no matter the danger. Also, if you've not done so already, please subscribe to our channel and click that notification bell to get inspired by these animal stories every day. Now, back to the story. Curiosity doesn't mean that the otter puts itself at risk. It can also mean that it has a chance to make truly unusual friendships that no one saw coming. There was one otter who proved you don't have to be an otter to play with one. Take, for example, the river otter who decided to pay a visit to two curious creatures he spotted on shore. He didn't stop to think if it was safe. Instead, he took dramatic action, all for the sake of adventure. Two Labrador retrievers were just enjoying their day on the water when all of a sudden the otter popped up out of the water. It was clear that neither pooch expected this when they left the house for a walk that day. The otter probably had no idea what to expect when he popped up to say hello. Maybe he thought he'd get a good sniff. Maybe he thought the dogs would bark at him, but he probably didn't expect the dogs' next moves. They started to swim and chase each other around the dock. At one point, the otter even jumped out of the water and up onto the boat, trying to catch his new furry friend. Could this curious otter have finally met its match with this inquisitive pup? According to the owner of the two dogs, this mischievous otter hung around the dock and could be seen ready to play with whatever creature was ready and willing. Seems like his curiosity really paid off. Otters aren't just curious about our pets either. They're just as curious about human beings and what we're getting up to. So if you meet an otter, you'd better prepare yourself for some serious inquisitive cuddles or impressive adventures like the one a man had recently. One kayaker enjoying the day out on the water got quite a surprise when a fearless otter joined him on his kayak. Who did this otter think he was, Captain Jack Sparrow or something? The otter jumped right up out of the water and into his kayak. Again, the otter's curious nature left it with little disregard for potential dangers. In this case, the otter in question was pretty darn lucky. The otter made itself right at home as it cozied up on the yellow kayak for a ride around the bay. The kayaker didn't mind the company, though. But if an otter joined you for a ride around the bay, wouldn't you be excited too? It doesn't seem to matter whether you've got furry paws or human hands. One thing is for sure, the otters of the world will leap at you. It's always a good idea to treat any animal with respect, though. After all, Mother Nature is quite unpredictable. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and consider sharing it with your friends and family. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next one.